Topic for today is the depiction of Asians in American movies on world destruction. Pretty specific topic, we have gone beyond it a little. Okay. So what we are going to do is we are going to start off by looking at how the Western world portrays itself in such scenarios. What is the depiction of Asians in these situations, and then we are going to relate it to certain managerial contexts. So the first thing that came to my mind when I was revising these movies for the assignment was that even though the crisis is global, the response is pretty American centric. The aliens, the tsunamis, the earthquakes, they don't discriminate between countries, but it's always the American heroes of the American response team which manages to save the world. In Armageddon, there is a scene wherein in front of the Taj Mahal, Indians are shown as praying, but the Americans never pray. They are go-getters. They never stay down and die. They will always come up with a plan to save you from aliens, everything, etc., etc. In Armageddon, they were the guys who first predicted that the asteroid was going to destroy us. They were the guys who managed to come up with a response team, the only country to come up with a response team. They destroyed it. In Independence Day, they were the only people to get a virus into the mothership and blasted it. 2012, very interesting example, the recent one. Both these movies were 1990s. In 2012, basically it was again the Americans who had the foresight to plan for such an event, and they came up with certain contingency plans that built those arcs, and they were basically the leaders of the whole enterprise, and the other nations just followed them. Okay, if we, I don't know how many of you read comics, but if you look at the X-Men, they're mutants. Mutants can come up anywhere on the planet. But there is no prominent Asian mutant. They are all true blue Americans mostly. Over to Chitransh.
Yes, sir. True blue. So I'm not a true blue mutant, that's it. So I'll take you how the Asians have been represented in the movies throughout the ages. So first, let me come to the movies in 1980s. The movie here that I'm talking about is Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. So he was a recipient of the hospitality of an Asian/Indian king, and for dinner he was served delicacies consisting of eyeballs and chopped up snake pieces. So not surprising considering that the perceptions of Indians, here I'm talking about Indian specific but it applies to the whole Asian context. The perception of Indian was what was propagated by the British as the country as a land of snake charmers. So now skipping ahead to 1990s, there were movies like Mars Attack, Armageddon and Independence Day. One common theme in all of them was, in one shot, Taj Mahal was shown, and there were some people wearing turbans who were sitting in front of them waiting for the tomb to come, not doing anything. So not even panicking. So here, how do we relate these two things? In 1980s we are shown as barbarians, in 1990s we are shown as the Taj Mahal was shown. The basic fundamental here is the representation of Asians in the movies varied according to the economic perception of the Asians during that time in America. For example, India was a closed economy till 1990. Before it, there were no contact as such. Therefore, we are known as we were considered backward. 1990s, we started opening, liberalization took place. They came here, but we are not as such a significant player. The most significant thing for them about India was Taj Mahal. So they represented us by Taj Mahal. Now skipping ahead to 2012, the movie and the year. So there is an Indian guy who first warns everyone about the impending doom, the black American guy about the impending doom, who then takes actions about it, saves hundreds of millions of American lives, but not even one Indian is saved. And even the Chinese workers who make the ships, they are not allowed entry on the ship until the same American guy intervenes on his behalf. So again, what are we seeing here? We are seeing here as the people who provide the back-end support, the people who will do the technical research, people who will provide the manufacturing prowess, in this case China, people who are manufacturing everything for you, but then again, they are the ones, they are not the ones who take the decisions. So here, what is the inherent contradiction that we are facing? In all these movies, there are some heroes who have a sense of justice, they are selfless, they want to protect everyone because they believe in equality. But the treatment of Asians based on the economic perceptions nullify that. Because it's not equality if you are showing that one class of people and one ethnicity or people belonging to one ethnicity have gone into the arts and the other people belonging to the other ethnicity are standing in front of him waiting for the tsunami to come and take them away. So now we'll talk about the hygiene context.
So see, world destruction is a crisis, and obviously these movies are very popular in the States, here also. What I would like to say is that they create a concept in the mind of ourselves and of the white man, which is subconsciously, perpetuated by us. If you look at the actual world crisis, like India-Pakistan war over Kashmir, in Israel-Palestine conflict, everybody expects the US to take a leadership role. They are seen as the guys who are supposed to, they're supposed to stand up for the small guy, they're supposed to do good, they're supposed to, be the leaders basically, they were supposed to lead the free world. And how did that perception emerge? That emerged because of this Hollywood sort of conditioning, I would argue, that people across the world were shown that Americans are the heroes, they are going to come and save you, they are the, cowards basically. And if you take that into a managerial context also, in a team, in a time of crisis, Asians would be expected to be the people who are the number crunchers perhaps, who do all the legwork, but they are not the guys who make the decisions. In a crisis, you would look up to American or the Western guys to take charge. They will tell you what to do, you do it. Chitransh?
So now we come to the second margin context that we have derived from this. So I am drawing from a bit of experience, from my experience here, being in an IIT and IIM. I've seen that after I'm blowing my own trumpet. I'm very sorry to offend you. So people from IIT after graduation, there are so many opportunities in US. Many of my friends are working there, they got admissions into other schools. But what about people after graduating from IIM? Do you think that I don't think many of us will be able to make it in the outside world? How many CXOs are there from the Asian origins, famous CXOs? One example that comes to my mind is Indra Nooyi, but she also went to Yale before she became the CEO of Pepsi. So the agenda that I'm trying to push here that Asians are not seen as effective managers.
As a very technical stuff, from an IIT you can go abroad, but from an IIM it's not as easy.
So we are seeing the guys who have the hard skills, who do the technical research, we have the manufacturing process, but not the soft skills of leadership, motivation, and actually applying that research to the business scenarios.
So to sum it all up, Hollywood has basically created a certain scenario in which America rescues the world. That's not, what is actually going on in the world. And America is supposed to be, in equal society, and movies are supposed to be a reflection of society, a true reflection of society. But again, that's not equivalent that's not even shown in today's movies. Even if they say the representation of Asians, or you could argue the blacks, the Latinos, etc., it's not actually, what it should be. And in the managerial context, again, that sort of Hollywood has created a sort of conditioning that you look up to the Western leaders, that these are the guys who will take charge, will do all the legwork. again not Indians, Asians are the guys who are good at data, who are good at analyzing, but they are not good at taking decisions. That's it. Thank you.